But it's pretty cool. I love, it makes me happy to see all the love going towards my old man. So, I'm stalling. I'm gonna get rid of these screens. Well, actually, no, let's go ahead and bring one out. We've got a really cool thing happening now, too. There's an amazing, Washington, D.C. is really lucky to have an incredible interviewer in the form of Bob Edwards, who maybe you guys know. And Bob's going to come out and do a cool thing and interview my dad for a little bit. So without further ado, let's get Dad and Bob Edwards out here.
The wrong way.
A lot of love in this room. Oh man, that was too cool. That was. Gotta feel good about that. I do. That was really neat. That was brought a tear to my eye. Truth be known, it really did in a couple of places. So, thanks, Critter, or whoever put that together, man. That was something. I want to copy that. Take us back to the beginning. When did you first connect with music? Oh my gosh. No, it was before that, Stuart. It was probably when I was 8 or 9 years old. The kid across the street from me, he was several years older, played the accordion, but he was the guy that I just wanted to be like. And so we didn't have much money. My parents couldn't afford an accordion, but they said, hey, we'll get you a guitar if you want. So that's what happened. We went down to Sears and Roebuck on Broad Street in Richmond, Virginia, bought a Gene Autry Melody Ranch, $13. But those if you can find one now that's in good shape, they're worth hundreds of dollars. It's crazy. But anyway, and I learned how to play guitar when I was. Now, what about the banjo? Well, I heard Earl Scruggs when I was about 15 years old, and it made me crazy. Absolutely crazy. I thought, man, I have got to learn how to do that. So, it was a lot of persuasion. I convinced my dad into letting me buy a banjo. And it was $100, and I got it for my 16th birthday. It was $100 back then for an RB100, which is what it was. And of course, back then, in those days, there were no videos, or this is 1954 I'm talking about. No videos or anything like good instruction material especially for bluegrass banjo. There really wasn't any. There really weren't any instruction manuals. But anyway, what I would do, I had a little sun porch off of my bedroom, and I could sort of lock myself back in, and nobody could hear what I was doing in the rest of the house. And I would take a 45 Flatt and Scruggs tune, Flatt and Scruggs record, and slow it down to 33, and play it, and of course, if it's singing this, but I could hear the notes that Earl was playing, and I sort of figured it out, and I tuned the banjo all the way down. But one night, my dad came back there, and I was working on all that stuff, and he opened up the door, and he had the most disgusting look on his face and his hands on his hips, and he said, son, buying you that banjo for your birthday last year was the biggest goddamn mistake I've ever made. He said, that thing is nothing but a cacophony of harsh and unpleasant sounds. I didn't know what cacophony meant at the time, but I knew it wasn't good by its tone of voice. But anyway, I kept working on it. caught on to learn to play a couple songs.
That was your first review.
And not a good one.
Now the band, which began in your house.
Yeah. Well, we used to have Monday night picking sessions in my house. Mike Aldridge used to refer to it as our Monday night card game. And it was Mike and Dave Aldridge, John Starling, and Jerry Henderson was the bass player. This was probably in the late 60s, early 70s. We lost John to Vietnam for John Starling. He got reassigned to Vietnam, but he came back in I think 71 and moved up the street from me. So we started the Monday night stuff again, and
But strictly jam session.
yeah, just a jam session. We didn't want to go out and play in front of people. That made us nervous. But Mike and I had, while John was gone, Mike and I had played with Cliff Wall and Shakes of Bass. It was on movie here. But we had stopped playing at the end of the summer of 1971. We were doing anything. We had started our jam sessions again. Cliff called me up right about then and asked me if we could put the basement band together to play at the Red Fox, because he wanted to go to the DJ convention in Nashville. So I said, sure, we'll do it, which we did. But I don't think we had Duffy wasn't there that night. That night, the place called the Rabbit's Foot called the Red Fox, and they were interested in starting bluegrass music in their place. It was a little rock and roll club across the Volvo dealership on Wisconsin Avenue. So I ended up taking the phone call. The guy told me what he wanted, and I said, yeah, we'll do it. He said, be in here the first Monday in November. So that's what we did. Well, we stayed there for about maybe 2 gigs. The second one, Monday Night Football, had started happening at that time. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think the Redskins were on that night. Anyway, he wouldn't, he had a TV by the bartender had the TV by the bandstand, which he let us turn the sound off. But there was another TV on the bar, which he kept going in pretty good volume. We could hear it from the stage. A friend of ours asked him to turn it off on several occasions. Never did it one time too many, because I remember seeing him getting taken out by the scruff of his neck. We ended up on the street. I ended up going out and looking for this fella, and he was gone. And so I stayed out and talked. Next thing I know, here comes Tom with his bass. Everybody walking out with their instruments. So we're quitting this place. It's a dump. So we, John Starling and I went up to the Red Fox, watched the game, drank a few beers, and got hired to come in and start playing at the Red Fox on the first Tuesday in 1972. And that's how it all got started. So there you go. So if I hadn't taken the phone call,
The name of the band?
no name at that point. I guess the summer of 72, when the word was coming that John Starling was coming back, and there was a rumor that had gotten started that we were going to have a band, and with John Duffy. And Charlie Waller who was Country Gentleman's lead guitar player and great singer and all that stuff. Charlie heard about it, and he knew we all had day jobs and all that sort of stuff. So he said, well, those guys, they're busy. They might as well call themselves Seldom Seen. And Duffy got wind of that. And after we started playing at the Red Fox, we didn't have a name for about 6 weeks. And finally one night, we finished a song, and he said, well, he didn't like that with an integrated dirt band. If you did, we're the Seldom Seen. That's how it all got started. We had no vote on it at all.
So you tried to be a once-a-week band, but we weren't having any of that. We wanted to see you. That's why there have been 3 Birchmeres.
Well, Birchmere has been very kind to us. They really have. And I think we owe a big debt of gratitude to the Birchmere folks. Gary Olseger runs this place. We have We had the best gig in town for 20 years. We would start at 8 o'clock, play for like 45 or 50 minutes, take a 15, 20-minute break, play for another 45, and we were done a little after 10 o'clock. And it was great. We did this every Thursday night for like 20 years.
People came because they loved how you played traditional bluegrass, but they also loved that you didn't play traditional bluegrass.
Yeah.
You blew the lid off of the repertoire of bluegrass.
Well, yeah, we listened to all kind. Well, we listened to a lot of rock and roll music. I did listen to WHFS, and so did John, and I played with Cliff Allman in 2 years. He was one of the early bands to start doing that stuff. So that's kind of how we got into it. If we liked the song, we'd say, let's see if we can work this thing out.
The other thing that separated you was you had fun.
Oh, yeah. You had to have fun when John Duffy was around. You never knew what was going to come out of his mouth. Sometimes you'd like to get small and kind of go off stage. But other times, he would have the whole band so cracked up that we couldn't play for about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. It's the way it was. We miss him.
What a tragedy. He died so suddenly.
Absolutely. He was fairly young. He was only 62 years old. He passed away.
Did you guys think of maybe breaking it up?
Yeah, we had a meeting over at Ronnie's house about 2 weeks, I guess 2 weeks after he passed away, and talked everything over, and we decided that there were too many neat songs that we all still knew how to play, and said that people would like to hear. So we kept it up. Early on after that, we would use, before we hired him, people like Dan Tomiski, not too shabby, a singer, and several really good players. But finally, Lou Reed, we played down in North Carolina a little later on that spring, I think, and Lou was near his home, so he came and played with us, and we thought, this is it. Because he'd been in the band before. He came in, I think, around '86, and replaced Phil Rosenthal. So we knew that we knew what he could do. He knew all of our stuff, so it was an easy choice.
As we learned from the first set, the band has done pretty well at replacing you.
I agree. We've been really lucky. I think there've been 8 or 9 incarnations of the band, and they've all been pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Are we going to hear Lay Down Sally tonight?
Sally has been retired due to a sore back.
So what are those hobbies that you're getting to?
I can't say.
Whatever they are, enjoy it.
No, well, I really do miss playing, but I don't miss traveling. I don't miss getting on airplanes and all that sort of stuff. And I've had, my back is kind of bothering me the last couple of years, so I figured it was about time. And Starlin was right. I used to complain and threaten to quit. I will quit this year. So that was 20 years ago.
Thank you for 45 years.